What is up, Warriors? Welcome to this, what I know is going to prove to be an amazing Saturday Night Soul Session live with me, Reverend LC. Man, there's so much going on, and I'm so grateful to be here and talk to you all about it. Disappointments, delays, and destiny. We're going to talk tonight about not giving up 1 minute before your breakthrough. We're in some of the most powerful energy and healing cycles. Some of us have healing cycles that are coming to a close in some big areas. Some of us are just beginning on a new healing cycle, and we're going to talk about all of that tonight. And hopefully you get to walk away with something that maybe can speak to your soul so that you begin to create that life that you love, to honor it for what all of it truly is, because that's the beauty and the wisdom that comes with recovery. That's what makes recovery different than clean and sober. Recovery is a healing journey. It is a process that you never actually get done. You're just always moving to different levels of your life. The lie that we believe is that we're not supposed to go through. We're not supposed to be, life's not supposed to be hard. We're not supposed to suffer. And that, I think, has been the lie, the biggest lie that's created the most suffering in many of our lives. But I do want to talk to you tonight. It's a holiday season. We got a lot going on everywhere with not just us as individuals, but the collective, our countries, our I mean, just so much is changing, and it has this very chaotic feel about it. And it's also bleeding down into our personal lives. And we're seeing a lot of overdoses. We're seeing a lot of death. We're seeing a lot of mental health crisis. We're seeing a lot because if you don't know, you don't know. And the beautiful part of recovery is that it offers us this awakening process to where we really begin to see, as we begin to see our lives from a different and new perspective, as we get to heal through a lot of our past, we get to recognize the world in a different way. And it's very important that we understand and realize that each person here in this collective is on their own divinely designed plan of destiny. Everyone, everyone, from what we believe are the worst ones to the people that we have sainted, we are all on our own individual journeys. It's important we honor that. It's important that we honor each other, and it's really important that we honor ourselves through this. So, all right, that's the intro. I'm getting through that while you're doing your holiday shopping. What's a better gift to give someone than healing, self-love, a triumph and inspiration story, and you can get all of that right here in my soul sister Pamela Topjian's book. I didn't come this far to only come this far. It is available she's made it affordable for everyone, just because it's an amazing story. It will inspire you. It will give you courage. It will help to motivate you. If you're right there, you're so close. You're so close. I'm just telling you, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you're so close. You're closer than you know. And I know it's hard to hear because it doesn't seem like it, but an amazing resource for all that you're going through, and just an amazing, inspiring story is Pamela's book. I didn't come this far, to only come this far, and it's available right there at Amazon. And you can type in the title, or you can take a look at Pamela M. Topjian on Amazon and see she's just a healer, just a healer, just in the world, doing what she's divinely designed to do, and she does it so well. She uploads a lot of amazing hypnosis and meditations onto YouTube at her channel, Pamela Topjian. So just get with Pamela Topjian, and it'll be the greatest gift that you can give yourself or someone else if you're giving gifts this season. All right. All right. Let's just really get into this thing. Let's get to the meat of it. I got my Wi-Fi turned off on my phone, so I can't really share the video out. So if you know somebody who's struggling, if share it out. If you just know that there are people in a certain space struggling, share it out. Let's talk about it tonight, and maybe we can just offer each other some hope, some inspiration, and each one of us help each other to get up from our give up so we can create these lives we love. If y'all are ready, I'm ready. Let's go.
Three, two, one, zero.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
What's up, you amazing human beings, all of you that are here live and those that will watch this later on the replay. I really hope that it touches you in some type of way. Yep, I'm still with the laptop, y'all. My internet's a little bit shaky tonight. Don't know what's going on, but we're going to try to get this out because I know I'm not the only one going through intense from all angles, from every aspect in these last months as we close out the year of 2023. It's been a wild one. I know it. It has just been a lot. And if you're in the recovery community, these are the kind of times, these are the kind of months, even set aside holidays and having to be around family and grief and all of those things. But let's just even talk about just the chaotic energy that's really happening. It's so much that one of the biggest triggers in my whole entire 22 years of active addiction was overwhelm. Just overwhelm. I had no idea how to regulate my thoughts down to a place where they were not overwhelming me. And I've been revisited as I close this out because many of you already know my story. Like, this whole journey began for me 15 years ago, and it began at a very important astrological time, which I was not even aware of. And that kind of stuff really helps me in my healing journey. It kind of helps me with perspective and clarity. And greetings from India. How are you, Pastor Suresh? Thank you for helping me, and thank you for helping me reach a global status on Spotify this year. I appreciate all of you from India and every different country that shows up here. I think this is so cool about our stuff. Our technology and our ascension and growth, and but anyway, that would always really get to me, that my big trigger would be overwhelm, just not having the ability to focalize and focus on these things. And right now, the energy is very overwhelming. Many of you are probably struggling in areas of housing, like myself. Probably struggling in finances, worried about what's going to happen this next year. Many of you have began a journey with grief. You've lost someone this year close to you, or maybe more than one. Um, it began for me with the three most stabilized people in my life dying back to back 15 years ago. I could have had no clue at that time that I was getting ready to step into a journey that was going to transform me more than I could possibly imagine. There's no way sometimes to know unless we hear it from outside in that there is a plan for even this. And whatever that this is for you. For me, I just, like, devastation doesn't even describe what the beginning of this 15-year healing and awakening cycle has been for me. And there's no way I could have known it then. And I really didn't have anybody in my life at that time that was even on a healing journey, that were able to tell me that this this will become something. This will become something that is beyond your imagination. And it's so hard to see that when we're in the active midst of a tragedy. And it doesn't make the tragedies I guess you could say, okay. I mean, you know what I mean? But we have to get to a place. If you're on a healing journey, you know how important acceptance is. You see, we get caught in so much suffering when we're wishing that it was something different. And the reality is it's not. This is what it is. Now, where do we go from here? And I spent the majority of my life living so far in my past, wanting to have had a different experience, that I was blocking the experience that was available to me because I had no knowledge that was a thing. I didn't know it was a choice. I didn't know I had any freedom within it. I felt like a prisoner of my past. And what it was is I was a prisoner of wishing it had been different, wondering why. Why me? Why did it happen to me? Why did I get, why? And the more I learn as I open myself to receive all that is constantly being spoken to all of us by our environment, because when we think of a God, so to speak, when we think of this creative, all things created, then divinity is always around us, meaning it is always within itself being an example of God. A tree is always being an example of what it was made majestically to be. And so there are quite inspiring messages around us that are teaching us how to go through this. But when we are a prisoner of our past, and when we are a prisoner of our minds and our emotions and our addictions, when we are a prisoner of those, and remember, addiction is a byproduct of much deeper things. You may have consciously wanted to get high in the beginning, but eventually it became not your choice anymore. Eventually, but people that are well and feel whole don't really get high. You know what I mean? To the extent that it begins to steal their lives from them, like it did ours. And so, there's always the addiction is just the byproduct. It's just the coping mechanism to a heart filled and a self filled with wounds and worthiness. Most of us don't love ourselves. We don't understand the concept of loving ourselves because we think we're just junk. We think we're just the scum of the earth because the thing just, it's like a succubus just feeding constantly on that cycle of negative emotion. And we don't know that we have the freedom to make a different choice. And it starts by being able to hear someone else. That's why I always stay in the recovery community, because that's where it all started for me. And I want to stay there because I hope to be a voice that lends itself to you, even if it's triggering. Because a lot of people, and I've tried for a long time, and I have to thank a few of my friends, like Tandy Gutierrez for lending me some just amazing wisdom and advice. My good friend Pamela Topjian that always, encourages me and tells me the truth. I have these beautiful friends that are on a healing journey with me and that I get to reach out to, and they get to help me with things. And I I've been searching my words so much, especially in 2023. It's gotten to the point where it's almost like we're not allowing ourselves to be triggered anymore. And triggering is how we grow. Triggering is how we become resilient. Triggering is how we move through our recovery journey because each time we overcome, heal, conquer a trigger, change a behavior, we are getting stronger. And so, if we as human people don't allow ourselves to be triggered, at times we can't grow past what we are. And so I've been searching my words so much this season, this 2023, in order not to try not to trigger each other, but I feel like I'm doing a disservice if I don't s- say to you what I feel comes through my heart and through while I do these. Because again, triggering is how we grow. And if you're in a space of brand new recovery where these triggers are very physical, that's a whole nother support group. Like, cover yourself. What is your recovery battle plan? How are you going to do things different today than yesterday? I got to the place where I started studying myself. Most of you know this if you've heard if you've been here long. I started studying myself, creating strategies around the places that I failed. I stopped looking at my failures as a place of just pure regret and self-hatred, and I began to look at them for how I could create a strategy to conquer, overcome, or heal that trigger. And I found at the heart of the majority of my physical triggers too lied an emotional trigger. A lot of environmental triggers happen in early recovery. You can go places, and I started taking different routes until I felt strong enough to to do things certain ways. And a lot of stuff I just left behind, like the music I listened to through most of my life. A lot of it I had to leave behind. And I found that as I rose in my recovery and my healing journey, I just vibrated different and therefore had different tastes. And I didn't need to hear that real painful music anymore. That music that kept me tied and married to that identity of being victimized and living my life from that space. So a lot of things are trying to change in our lives right now. A lot of things are being shaken up so that we leave the things behind that just are not serving us in our next phase of life. And a lot of them, if you're being forced to let them go at this point, if they're not just kind of being irritating or your tastes are changing or whatever, friendships changing and all that, if they're being yanked and pulled and forced out of your life, there is some value even while you're feeling the emotions of all of that. There is some value of being able to remind yourself or let yourself know that, you know, this is no longer what's best for my highest and best good. Whatever you've been asking to become, whatever you have been working towards, these are the things that will have to go in order for that you to have that open space to move forward and receive what is to come next. Because you've been putting things out there all year, and there's been a lot of slow moving things with people's, I hate the word manifestations. I don't hate it. It's just it becomes so confusing to people because it's just being weirdly used and wildly used that it just gets watered down. But really that's what they are. The reality, the things, the people, the ways of what you're trying to become, all of that stuff is basically been slow in coming into where you can taste, touch, feel, and smell and all of that stuff. And it feels like that's where we come up with the delays. It feels like for me, I've gone through so many things that I didn't know still lived there. So many emotions, so many thoughts, like worthiness came up. All in this one situation I'm going in with housing. Worthiness came up. Pride and ego came up. I felt shattered. Like I just felt some of my dreams were shattered. I mean, just like it's been intense. And I kept reminding myself that it's okay to feel these things. Like, it's okay to feel this. It's okay to even have this thought, but we can't live here because we also know that this cycle is coming to an end, and these are the leftovers. What you're going through now are the things that have to be worked through, healed through, released, all of those things before this next phase comes. And it's going to seem fast and it's going to seem harsh in ways, but I guess the only way I can tell you not to give up just before your breakthrough is to tell you and remind yourself, if you've been putting in the work, and if you have, regardless of where you are in your journey, if you've been giving up, if you've been putting in the work towards something, towards becoming someone, towards whatever it is, it has no choice but to come back like that. Like, we get back what we put out. And it doesn't mean it's all going to come perfect in the way that we envision it, but realizing that there's always a plan for that as well. So much about living a more peace-filled and wellness-filled life is understanding that you have more control and power than you realize over your experience. It's like changing, it's to me, each phase of growth is like changing a prescription in glasses. I've worn glasses since I was 12 years old, and my prescription has changed so much over the years. And I just feel, as I look back over my life in general, my healing journey, my recovery journey that started, 10 years ago. So for 5 years before that of this 15-year cycle, I was trying my best to die. I was trying my best to die, and it would not happen. And then all of a sudden, I had a reason to fight. It was like that I was not going to lose the last person, the last most important person to me. And I had to be faced with this very harsh, situation that I felt was so unfair, and how dare you, and all those things. But I also at the same time had this little feeling within me that said, this is necessary. You need this reason to fight. You've been trying to die, and it just didn't happen. So you need to try to figure out, why is it that you're supposed to live? And it started having something to fight for, and it comes from harsh circumstances. So if I can tell you anything today, if I could tell you anything tonight, let it be this: please don't give up. You're so close to what it is, just a change. Please don't give up. Don't give up and give in to whatever emotion is trying to draw you back into it, to whatever situation, to whatever circumstance, whatever it is. I beg you to hold on. And I beg you to dig in, get a good foundation. What is your spiritual practice? How do you strengthen yourself spiritually? And how do you strengthen yourself physically? How do you strengthen yourself emotionally? How do you strengthen yourself, mentally? Cover all the bases and build you some stability. And it really, really helps if you have some people around you that are stabilized, you know, stabilized. And to be able to be that support, I feel so honored and blessed to have kind of been able to retrospect over all the beautiful friendships that I have in my life now, and how they're so different. Because as you change, Your environment's got to change and your friendships have to change. So if you've been working on yourself all year and all of a sudden you have a falling out with your best friend from childhood and it's just devastating you, understand that that means that as you go to that place you've been working towards, you're going to have new environment. So what's up, Janine and Pamela and Tori? And I said, what's up to Suresh? I don't know if I can see anybody else. This may be just us, a small group, but I don't care because I always say, whoever's supposed to be here or hear this, when you got to be ready to receive this. If not, the things that I'm saying is probably kind of triggering. Because I remember when I was completely involved in my victimhood, you could not tell me that there was a silver lining to my shit cloud. You couldn't tell me that and me not get upset because I was locked into that identity of being that junkie, that sufferer, that person that had got a shit deal, in so many ways. That's how I thought. It's what I believed. Had so many things happen. And today, I can see where it really helps me be relatable to a lot of people's journey. And it ends up that a lot of people see how the same and relatable that we all are, regardless of what our journey details are. Imagine a world this would be if we saw each other the way divinity sees us, if we saw each other that way, because each one of us is a part of that, so we're all connected. If we saw each other that way and realize and respected that people are on their own divinely designed journey, that it's not about the group being the same, it's not about humanity being the same. The telltale clue of that is that we all look different. It's not meant to be the same. And we're not meant to live a life where we're not ever scathed or triggered by things. This is how we learn. If you've ever asked anywhere in your life what the highest and best version of you was, or if you've ever wondered what the best version of you is, it's over with. You already kicked that out there, and now life is going to show you. And it's going to show you through taking you through things that are very divinely designed, building you up in areas that are necessary. I happen to believe in destiny. Now, I do know that we have free will and the right to choose. I also know that we create a lot of the life that we experience. Now, I didn't know that way back then, but I do know it now. And it's amazing to be able to look back and to just see how all of those things built the person I am. And I feel like I am on my divinely destined path. This isn't the only thing that I do, like even in the work that I'm doing and the way that things have come in, my family and them coming back together. Like there's so many things that I can see how all of my experiences and now I had created my life. And when I was locked in that other identity, that's all I could create. And now having this awareness of the true divine and power that lives within me and each and every one of us. And that's what helps me. That's what makes me respect each person's journey. And if we all did that for each other, diversity built us. It continues to build us. And we got to have diversity in the recovery community. We got to have it, we've got to have it everywhere because recovery is a big catalyst to this change because we've discovered and we finally admitted that not one way works for everybody. And you're not a failure if you can't do it in that one way. And we found this out. And we broke open the secret. And now we have probably more people in recovery today than ever had been. Ever. Because people got vulnerable and opened up and shared that there are different ways and you can create your own way, and just took a different approach to it. So proud of that. Diversity does that. People being willing to speak up does that. And people being willing to use their gifts. And you know what? Not everybody ended up making it to where their gifts ended up being used for good. That's okay. That's okay. We don't have to focus on where the failures are. We got to focus on the blessing that has become this recovery community. And we're losing a lot of people right now. And we can't block each other out and off because we don't all do recovery the same. And so that's my rant about that. But I know it's been hard. Like, listen, I know we've all been going through some stuff. It's really, it's a wild energy, and I understand. And it's very chaotic, and it's coming to a close, and it's closing out, and everything that you've gone through this year is going to prove to be so necessary in all that we have coming up. It's going to be necessary. It's all going to have been for a reason. You know, I wish you the fastest timing, I guess, to really understand some of the whys, some of the what happens and what they truly did. And I hope you look for the balance. I hope that when you're reflecting, you you make sure that you notice the blessings and the good, and the strength and the resilience that has come out of all of this. You know, y'all, I'm doing so much. And I have to say, one of the biggest and most amazing blessings happened to us right here towards the end of this year. And and my wife and I have really just spent, just 4 years learning a new way to parent our son long distance, but to be able to experience, and it was and it and this blessing was coming in a time that was just filled with chaos, and it was so easy to look at all that was happening and get stressed and get fearful. And I did a few times, I'm not gonna lie. Nobody's perfect, we don't get it perfect, but the majority of our intention is what defines and what comes to us, not just the little areas that we may, you know, sit in misery for a minute. But to have my family back, I get to see what this means for me, because there's no bigger motivator. And you all, if you heard this before, probably I hate repeating it to those, but I hope there's some new people here too. For those that don't know, like, I started my recovery journey because of my family. When I first met my wife 18 years ago, I was in such a space of darkness that was what I was a motivator for me, an inspiration for me. I changed my whole way of life. I started becoming the person I wanted to be, even though it was an ugly start. You wouldn't have known that that was going to be the journey to begin with. It was terrible. But, like, my family is my motivator. And when I started this journey, it had to do with my son and my family. As I start this journey, I can't tell you how important it is to have us all here together. And, the circumstances aren't the greatest thing, but we're moving through it, and we're moving on, and just to have them close to me, I'm so, so grateful. So please, as you're going through this year, balance out your reflections. Balance out your reflections. And if you can, make whatever this chaotic stuff was, build a strategy out of it. I love strategies. Strategies, I understand strategies, and strategies work for me. however you can, not to wound your worthiness anymore by wishing something was different that happened. What's up, Brandy? Wishing something had happened differently. Acceptance is going to be a major, it's going to help. It is. It is. And now we can move. Now we can heal because we've accepted it is. For as long as we wish it was something else, we're pushing it away, we're prolonging it. It is. Um, if you can stay in that, and I don't know, it's so much. I know it's so much, but if you can stay in that and you can balance that out and you cannot beat up on yourself, if you cannot, there's a difference in personal responsibility and just pure self-loathing. There's a balance, that's you got to get that, because you can't see anything but through the loathing. The loathing stops you from seeing the lesson. So balance it out, build your strategies, make sure you're taking care of your whole self, especially, I mean, from this moment till the first of the year. Take care of your full self. Drink water. I'm guilty. I know. I'm doing this stuff myself. I'm telling you. I ain't telling y'all nothing I'm not doing. I'm doing it. Trying to eat, fairly balanced regularly so that our sugar levels aren't spiking and your body's not feeling good, because you can't be mentally well and your body not feel good. I'm getting that this year. I'm putting it out there. I'm quitting smoking in January. It's just, I got a plan, I got a strategy, and I'm going to do my best. Like I have something to fight for. I have something to work towards. I have my motivators. I have my gratitude, and I'm just going to do it. Just going to do it. I don't know how it's going to look, but I know in 2 years, at least, at, in 2 years, I am absolutely going to be a non-smoker. I'm telling you. I see myself that way, and I have a plan, and I've tried to build strategies, and I'm gonna do my best, and that's all you can do as well. That's all you can do. Oh wow. Congratulations, Brandy. It's, I've spent time these last months going away from the how I was kind of, you should stop doing this. This is not healthy. You're not, like how we, and I would notice how I was treating others. Like how you deal with others is usually how we deal with ourselves. And, I was really being really short and agitated with people. So I was always doing that to myself. So I really started to use this other strategy where I just started to see myself as a non-smoker, and just all the ways that it was going to make me feel better, and not even just health wise, but just like, I have a business. I'm a new business owner, and on a place that is a very wealthy island, a resort island. And so, I don't like the way I feel when I smoke at the job site. I don't like the way I feel. I don't feel like I get taken seriously. And it's just my feeling. And so for me, that's, I want to change that. So I've been visualizing, and I've just been kind of trying to release it, easily, versus just being in that place of, oh, I know it's going to be so hard. I guess it doesn't have to be, So I just been using some strategies like that to try and hope that it helps, and you know, I think life, like, there's a way we can get to a place where, life can be easy. It's just that we've got to change our perspective of what easy means, what we mean by easy. I'm really looking forward to this next year in being receiving and seeing the fruit of all of the work that I've done in this past 15 years, and especially even this year. all the work. And I'm looking forward to seeing the fruition and what's going to come of that. Because keep your dreams alive. Keep your, keep, find a way to dream big, keep your dreams alive, really have something, passionate to you. Everybody's dreams don't have to look the same, but have something. Have something that lights you up. Have something that you're working towards. It's not necessarily just about this goal setting thing. It's like, who do you want to become? Who do you want to be in a year? Who do you want to be? And when we get to the end like we're getting to now, don't look at all the ways that maybe you didn't live up to that. That's why I said don't make resolutions last year. I told us that. Set intentions. Don't make resolutions. Set intentions for who you want to become. I mean, and what does that person have? What does their life look like? You know? And just see that. It's so much better than me just reliving my painful past over and over and over and over again and living so miserable that I'm just a drug addict without my drugs. That's I can't stay sober that way. That's why I knew I had to go deeper and go to healing, because there was no way I was going to be able to stay sober if I just kept the same mindset, the same heart set, the same attitudes and perspectives. And, again, they don't change overnight, but the more you work on those things, and having that vision helps. Without a vision, the people perish. Got to have the vision. And, I don't think anything can stop you from becoming that. I've certainly shown myself that there were things that I could never imagine in my whole lifetime that I would do or be, or ways that I would be able to become, or anything. My whole lifetime didn't believe it. So that's why I even do this, because I think, man, if I listen, if I can tell you that it's worth it, and do it and go through there and become the amazing version of yourself that you are deep inside when you're in active addiction, just do it and don't give up, please. Chaos, it's going to be an intense time. We're almost over. Take care of yourself, balance out, stay grateful, and be in acceptance, and listen to yourself. That was a great piece of advice my soul sister Pamela gave me today, is listen to yourself. And don't, and I know that in the recovery community after active addiction, it's so hard for us to trust ourselves again. Awesome, Judd. So glad you're here. That's amazing. Thank you and congratulations. The first times, I mean, the first few days, that first time, it's so hard. It's hitting you, bombarding you from every direction, physically, mentally, emotionally. I mean, it's all coming at you. And I pray that you can build some strategies around, man. Look at your failures, not, like I said, not for guilt. Look at those failures and see if you can build a strategy, because they're going to keep coming back. Look at the things that have occurred multiple times throughout your addiction journey. What's been that thing that's driven you back to that relapse every time? Look at that and take that apart and build a different action plan behind it. And it sounds easier than it is. I get that. And that's why I hope that you got your support intact. And we need people online to connect with, but we need people, man. Like, we need people too. And so, man, build a wall around yourself of people that got what you want and can help, that are helping to build you up. And, I wish you the best, man. I send it out to you with mad love and respect. Every time we get up, man, mad respect, mad respect. It took me a long, 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 long time, and never in a million years thought that I would have pulled it out. And I'm starting behind. That's a big thing. I didn't plan to be alive this long, so I'm really starting behind a lot of things, and I'm learning some valuable lessons about, what it takes to maneuver and have things in life and to do better. And I'm trying to, I'm learning through all these disappointments and delays because I know I'm knocking on the door to breakthrough, and destiny lives on the other side. And I want to tell you, I know that for you too. I know that for you too. That's right. Adulting. Wasn't a fan of it early on. Really, honestly, did not think that I would ever live long enough to have to do it. And it's a lot. Another reason that I'm super glad that our young son is home, because I hope he can just learn right along with me and be able to create strategies at his young age to do and have and be the human that he wants to be. Because if so, there's no stopping that kid. There's no stopping that kid. I'm telling you, a young person's mind with an old dad's wisdom is something, man. It's something. Anyway, I'm so excited for everybody. I love y'all so much. Thanks a lot for coming and sharing so openly with me about your experiences. And I wish you the best, and I hope that you hear me in your corner when you're in the midst of those triggers. I hope you hear me in your corner saying, "Don't give up. You're almost there. You're just about there. You're closer than you think. This month's almost over. 2024. We got to work on ourselves. We heal humanity by healing ourselves. We got to keep this going. We got to spread this out. We're losing too many people. Too many good humans are being overcome by the world, overcome by themselves, and we got to change that. And we change that by healing ourselves. We heal humanity by first healing ourselves. So I love you guys so much. I want you to have an amazing and awesome week. Thanks again for being here. Thanks for all the things you do. You like, the subscribing, all the stuff y'all do. I hope to get more active, rebuilding of, an audience next year. It's just been so much this year, ever since 2021. I mean, and I appreciate all of you that have stayed in here and stuck by me even when I kind of went MIA. It's all starting to make sense. It's starting to make sense now, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that because I miss y'all. I miss getting to share so much. I miss having so many different, wonderful, beautiful energies creating a community, because the Recovery Soul Food was a community at one time. And so, going to get more active. If y'all got ideas for season 25, like shout some ideas out. I want to do some things that are going to be kind of different. I want to make sure that I'm leaving you each time with some type of, not necessarily action step, but just something to think about that could possibly help you in some way, shape, or form create a life you love. So, I want to start doing some different things. And so, I don't know what it's going to be yet. I'm not clear on it, but, if there are some ideas that you guys, you're always welcome to drop them in the comments. Follow us on Instagram at recovery underscore soul food, and, send a DM there. I'm more likely to check that. Messenger, for some reason, doesn't work real well with me. So, send a message there if you've got suggestions, if there's things that you need, like what do you want me to talk to you about? If that's what it is, or just give me some ideas. What do you like about the show? What do you dislike? I know I talk a lot and I talk for long sometimes, so I already know that's going to be a comment, but that's okay. I get it. But you know, leave me some stuff. Help me. Let me know. How do you want to grow? How do you want to do this? What speaks to you? Let me know. Other than that, have an amazing week. And just remember and realize and know that you can get up from your give up and you can create a life you love. I'm Reverend LC, and I love you. See you possibly next week. Maybe not. Might be moving next week. I don't know. But some way, somehow, I'll let you know. You guys are in my prayers. I love you so much. Bye.